What you got, Deal?
You done looked at this, ain't you?
Yep. Didn't find out nothing. But
nothing we didn't already know.
Yeah.
Are we close enough?
Yep, look great.
Not perfect, but
Not perfect. You guys look great, though.
okay, bud. You said NASCAR back in the back days on dirt. What'd you figure out? You was there. I was on.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
on my couch at home.
It's really not a dirt track. It's a racetrack that they put their dirt on, and it shows it too.
Okay.
I mean, and they call it a dirt track, which it is. It is a dirt track, but it's completely different than any dirt track that we ever run on or I've ever seen. So maybe that's good or bad.
Well, you can just about call it a man-made dirt track or something to that effect. But, I guess if they'd have filmed, I guess they had some of it putting it together and everything, but it had to be quite a spectacle putting it together,
And I tell you, the guys that took care of the track couldn't have done a better job of putting it down, all that rain that they had leading into the race deal. So the track was as good as it could have been. But I'm just not a big fan of that. I mean, you got to look back. This is NASCAR's 75th year. And for 73 years, they tried to get away from dirt tracks, tried to get away from history. Now they're trying to bring it back. So, the race itself was kind of confusion because the guys up front stayed up front, and the guys in the back was the ones that's doing all the trading around.
Doing more racing, right? More racing back in the 20th place.
No, the guy that got out front, they could run and catch him, but the guy in front could use the whole racetrack.
Yeah.
The guys behind could never find a place to get by him. And back there in the back, they would be running like that. But if somebody touched somebody, then it just slows up there. And if the guy's got to run and start, he gets by. And but to really watch the race, you need to watch it back in 15th to 30th or something like that.
That's where most of the action was at.
That was where the action was at.
Yeah, we, thinking back when you started, of course, I was there with you most of the years, except when Uncle Sam had me on vacation in France.
Wish he'd have kept you.
Yeah, I love you too. But no shaker screens, and didn't have no problem with the mud on the windshields and stuff we used to deal with.
That's what I'm saying. And the track didn't. It broke up in a couple of places in 3 and 4, but they ran right through them. It never got to be deep holes where it broke anything.
But that, just looking at that car from the standpoint that we get to see it once in a while in the shop, and the pieces on it and everything, it really don't look like it's made for dirt, does it, Richard? But they kept the radiators clean, they kept the windshields clean, and all that.
They done a good deal of making the race work. And to begin with, they had a couple of spins, and they threw the caution flag, and then it got where, hey man, if we do this, we're going to run the whole race under caution.
We'll be all night.
So then they got, when they spun out, they just let them go.
Let them clean up. I guess the 6 car, how many times he spin out?
I don't know.
And here's another thing they could have thrown out. Every 10 laps, they turn the lights out for 30 seconds. And then when the drivers hit something, they could turn where it was a wall or another car. But that was
overall, there wasn't four leaders in the race. So the race was not up front. Now, like I say, the guys could run and catch them. And then the first thing you know, they'd lose it and somebody else would come back. But the way the 20 car, he ran third or fourth. He ran up front all night, and then the last stage deal, he stayed out on the track to get track position, and that made him win or helped him win the race. He might have won it anyway.
But that's those stages on that particular setup with the dirt and everything was kind of like the stages in the road courses.
Yeah.
You could take advantage of them and gain position, but on the road courses now, they've cut the stages out.
Yeah, they just
except
keep on
they count the points. So But all in all, they and to think all the rain and everything they had in this.
It just blew my mind that the guys that looked after the track. I guess that was the most impressive thing I seen at Bristol, more than the race or anything, was how good the guys that put the dirt down and kept it down, and then all that rain, and the deal was it was never muddy. You know what I mean? And they had it all packed.
Yeah, with all that water and rain and everything, and they're still watering it up to race time, And there at the end, there was 2 black grooves.
Yeah.
And why it wasn't wearing tires, I don't know, Richard. I mean, we've run some dirt tracks. I say we, meaning you.
I've never fell to the dirt, so I don't know how gritty it is.
Yeah,
but it's gritty enough to stay together.
Exactly. I don't know what they put with it. Maybe some Miracle Whip or something. I don't know. But
the race itself was they just run, and when it was over, everybody just took where they was at. You know what I mean? Because you'd be running 30th or something, and they'd have a wreck in front of you. You got through it, you'd gain 10 positions.
Well, talking about the 42 and the 43, which they'd had a better day. But the last 2 races, Richard, including Richmond and Bristol both, absolutely no practice, and especially on that dirt, our drivers probably needed it. Just one.
But when the race started, the furthest the leader ever got to the last place car was a half a lap. In other words, once they get settled down, the guys in the back was running as fast as the people in front.
Yeah,
but it was confusing to really watch it, and I won't call it a race. I call it, they just went out and run a little bit, and they throw a caution. They go out and run some more, and then when it was over with, if you was like the 43 car run 25th all night long, and a bunch of confusion right there at last. He wound up 14th, and so he had a decent finish for as bad as they run.
And he got, I guess he got spun out by another car, and 2 laps down, and me sitting at home, I said, "Lord have mercy, that's the end of our day." And he made 2 laps up in 10 laps, and which was good and everything. But then there was some, the 7 car, I guess he's the one that kind of spun the 43. He stayed 3 laps down, and when he's getting about ready to make up his lap, somebody else would get a lap, and they'd
get a lap down.
He never did do anything.
Anyhow, the race is over. We won't have to worry about dirt. We might not have to worry about it next year. I hope not.
Yeah, I just wonder where they'd put all that dirt when they said they got it off of the property, but it
put it back in the hole, I guess.
Back in the hole.